The silence of the Mpumalanga high veld was shattered while it was still dark, torn apart by metal, glass, and fire. At around 1 o'clock in the morning, on a familiar stretch of the N4 toll road, two sedans collided head-on at high speed. In that single instant, 7 lives were wiped out. As the sun began to rise between Macadudorp and Belfast, the road was no longer just a route connecting towns. It became a place of grief, twisted wreckage, and questions that will haunt families forever. For the people inside those vehicles, the journey had begun like countless others. A long, late-night drive, maybe heading home, maybe visiting loved ones, maybe simply trying to beat traffic and make good time on an open road. Somewhere between Macadudorp and Belfast, everything went terribly wrong. When emergency services arrived, the devastation was unmistakable. 2 sedans lay destroyed after a head-on collision. 7 occupants were already dead. 1 survivor, badly injured, was rushed to hospital in Belfast, fighting for their life. Police say the crash occurred at about 1 a.m., a time when fatigue, poor visibility, and overconfidence often combine with deadly consequences. While the investigation continues, early indications point to dangerous overtaking and excessive speed. Those 2 factors are among the most lethal combinations on South Africa's roads. A moment of impatience, a decision to pass when the road ahead is not clear, a belief that I can make it. At night, those decisions grow even more dangerous. Headlights distort distance. Oncoming vehicles appear farther away than they truly are. Reaction times slow, fatigue dulls judgment, and when 2 vehicles meet head-on at speed, there is almost no room for survival. Mpumalanga MEC for Community Safety, Security and Liaison, Jackie Macy, described the tragedy as another painful reminder of how unforgiving the roads can be. His appeal was simple but urgent. Motorists must be extremely vigilant, especially at night when visibility is reduced and the margin for error disappears. Roads are shared spaces, Macy warned. Drivers must do all in their might to prevent needless loss of life from deadly crashes. He also urged long-distance drivers to take regular rest breaks, stressing that fatigue remains a silent killer. Many early morning crashes involve drivers who are exhausted but continue pushing forward, determined to reach their destination, unaware that their concentration has already slipped. For the families of the 7 people who died on the N4, those warnings come too late. Somewhere, phones rang in the early hours of Saturday morning. Police officers stood at doorways. Parents were woken from sleep. Siblings, spouses, and children were told that someone they loved would not be coming home. There are no words that can soften that moment. Investigators are now piecing together the final seconds before impact. Skid marks, debris patterns, and the position of the vehicles will help determine exactly how the crash unfolded and who was responsible. Yet even before the final report is written, a broader pattern is painfully clear. This tragedy did not happen in isolation. Just a day earlier, another devastating crash unfolded hundreds of kilometers away on Christmas Day itself. On the N1-29 near Musina in Limpopo's Vembe district, a passenger bus traveling to Zimbabwe collided head-on with an Isuzu heavy motor vehicle. The crash happened at about 8:30 in the morning, in daylight, yet the outcome was just as brutal. According to the Limpopo Department of Transport and Community Safety, the probable cause was reckless and negligent driving. The Isuzu driver allegedly overtook on a barrier line, colliding head-on with the oncoming Delta passenger bus. Both drivers were killed instantly. Inside the bus, chaos followed. 2 passengers sustained serious injuries, while 4 others were left critically injured. A journey meant for returning home during the festive season became a nightmare of sirens, blood, and shattered lives. In both cases, the N4 in Mpumalanga and the N1-29 in Limpopo, the pattern is the same. Overtaking where it should never happen, speed that leaves no room for correction, decisions made in seconds that destroy entire families. South Africa's festive season roads are notorious for this. Long-distance travel increases. Drivers push through exhaustion. Alcohol plays a role in some crashes, while in others it is impatience or misplaced confidence. The result is an annual toll of death that has become almost routine. And that may be the most dangerous thing of all, because when tragedy becomes routine, it stops shocking us into change. Yet every crash is deeply personal. On the N4, the lone survivor, now in hospital, faces a long and painful recovery, physically and emotionally, carrying not only injuries, but the knowledge that 7 people did not survive the same journey. For emergency responders, scenes like this leave their own scars. Instrumental music. Paramedics, police officers, and firefighters are the first to confront the aftermath. Mangled vehicles, silence where there should be voices, and the repeated task of confirming death. They do this work knowing that many of these crashes were preventable. Jackie Macy's call for caution is echoed by road safety experts nationwide. Night driving is particularly dangerous on undivided highways, like parts of the N4 and N1. Fatigue can impair drivers as much as alcohol. Speed reduces reaction time. Overtaking on a barrier line removes the final layer of protection between vehicles traveling at lethal force. Yet every year, drivers continue to take those risks. Some believe they are skilled enough. Others feel pressured to arrive on time. Some underestimate how quickly things can go wrong. But physics does not negotiate. At high speed, a head-on collision is often unsurvivable. Seatbelts, airbags, and crumple zones can only do so much. Police investigations into the N4 crash continue, and authorities say anyone found to have acted recklessly will face the full might of the law. But accountability does not undo loss. Families are left with funerals instead of reunions, empty chairs at tables, and conversations that will never happen. As the festive season continues and roads remain busy, these 2 crashes stand as grim warnings written in twisted steel and broken lives. Slow down. Rest when tired. Respect barrier lines. Remember the road is shared with people who have families waiting for them too. Because on a dark highway at 1 a.m. or on a Christmas morning drive, it takes only one reckless decision for celebration to turn into catastrophe. 7 people on the N4 will never see another sunrise, and unless something changes, they will not be the last.